Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we are reviewing episode 4 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, I guess we should get started. So, just like every other review I've done so far, we're going to start off with the good, or without spoilers, and then we are going to get into some spoilers afterwards. So, I guess we should get started without spoilers, which there's not a lot to say. But what I can say is that it was pretty good, and it had great action sequences, but every episode has so far. And then also, there were some pretty emotional scenes in it. Like, there were some pretty good emotion to it. I fell. With a couple of scenes. And then it also got pretty intense, especially with the ending. And that's really all I can say without spoiling this episode. So I think we're going to get into some spoilers now. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this episode, click away and come back after you've seen it. And yeah, I'll give you a few more seconds to click away. Now let's get into some spoilers. So, it starts with a flashback to Wakanda, where we see a Wakanda soldier, I forget her name, but she's talking to Bucky, and then she says the words that trigger him, that turn him into the Winter Soldier. And then, but they do not work, and then, so it shows that they cured him or whatever. They did something that got rid of the trigger words, and then she says, "You're free." And then we flash back to present day, and Bucky says that he's grateful what she and Shuri did for him back in Wakanda. And then because the soldier is mad that they broke Zemo out of prison, and they gave him 8 hours to do what he needs to do with Zemo before they step in and take Zemo.
Up in that ruined building? Man, I do
so
not
then
get
Bucky and Sam find out that Kylie blew up a building with people still in it, and then Sam wants to stop Carly peacefully, but Zemo wants to kill her. He thinks that the only way to stop her is to kill her, but Sam does not want to do that. Sam wants to do it peacefully. And then, also, later on in the episode, Sam and them are all walking around trying to find out about Danya Madani. I think I'm saying her name right. And he's asking some people if they knew her, and they lie and say that they don't know her, when in the previous episode, we saw that they were housing her when she was dying. And then the one guy does mention that the global, some sort of global council, I forget what it was called, promised to send more teachers so that their kids can learn, because he was teaching the kids because they had no teachers, but they never did. I think he said it was like 6 months that they said that. Sam offers to try to help him, but he says that he can't trust Sam. And then Zemo gives a little girl some candy and asks if she knows where Danya's funeral is, and she tells him, but he tells her not to trust Sam and Bucky, and to keep their secret about Danya between him and her. And also, this is kind of a terrible idea, to just taking candy from Zemo. I mean, hasn't he been on the news? Unless maybe they don't have news where she is, but I'm just saying. Pretty sure it was on the news that he tried to kill, that he was the one who blew up the building, killing King T'Chaka. I'm just saying, but whatever. Anyway, later on, we learn that Sam does agree with Carly, but he does not agree with her message. He thinks that she is fighting for a good reason, but he does not like that she is killing and hurting people. And then Zemo tells them when the funeral is, but he doesn't tell them how to get there. That way he can keep his leverage. And this does make Bucky very upset. And then Sam calls Sharon and asks her if she can keep her eyes on the camp, and she tells him that she has access to satellites, so she can see how she'll help. But she also tells him that the Power Broker is really mad they killed Dr. Nagel, who created or recreated the Super Soldier Serum. And she does compare it to saying, you killed the Golden Goose, because he was the only person who knew how to make the Super Soldier Serum since World War II. So, yeah. And then later on, we see Carly and her friend, whose name I also forget, are getting a hidden serum, Super Soldier Serum, out of a grave of the guy, someone the guy knew, I think his grandfather, something like that, I forget. And he tells her that he actually used to be a fan of Captain America, which kind of sucks what happens to him later on, what it happens with. I'll get more into that later. And then he explains that the world used to be simple. There was good, and then there was evil. There was nothing complicated about that. There was good and evil, and that was it. But now the world is more complicated, and people are lost. Carly thinks that the shield should be destroyed. She says she thinks the shield should be destroyed.
Welcome back,
she doesn't
you
agree
mini-golf
with what
maniac.
it symbolizes.
Ready to show me
Oh
some
yay,
more of that
bad
awesome
guys.
hammer action?
And then also moving on, Sam wants to talk to Carly,
Normally, the crew
but
can't breathe in an Earth
Walker
setting
thinks that's
without
a
breathing formula.
bad idea,
Right.
because Walker does find Sam and Bucky, and he does not agree with the idea of trying to talk to her and reason with her. But Hopkins thinks it would be better to talk her down than to try to fight. And then Walker says Sam has 10 minutes, then he's going to do things his way. And then we learn that Carly doesn't remember her mother or her father, but Danya was like a mother to her, and that was my theory, because they didn't really tell us who she was.
Training, soldier?
So my guess was that it was her mother. I wasn't expecting it to be a mother figure. I thought it was going to be her actual biological mother. It's not. It's her only a mother figure, but still, it's pretty close. And then Sam talks to Carly, and Sam says that he came alone and he just wants to talk, which technically he's lying because he came with Bucky. Plus, he knows Walker and Hopkins are there, so... and he came with Zemo, so he's not by himself, and he lied, but... Still. Sam says he knows what it's like to lose someone, but Carly says, no you don't, not like this. This makes me wonder, when she says not like this, is that hinting at the way Danya died? Which, again, one of my theories is that maybe she died from a certain sickness or virus, because... well, it was supposed to deal with stuff related to the real world, and there was vaccines and medicines that they were stealing earlier. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong.
Doesn't exist anymore. Thanks a lot, Kang.
So, moving on, Sam does say it doesn't have to be war, but Carly says that they started the war when they kicked them out of their new homes and put them out on the streets. And then Sam tells her that he does agree with her and what she's fighting for, but he does not agree with hurting people to do it. And then Walker starts freaking out, and he says that this is a bad idea, so he goes in to where Sam and Carly are talking.
Listening to the guy
And then-
who destroyed our home prattle on all day is
And then
not
Carly says,
my idea of a
I'm
good
fighting for the
time."
people who are trying to take your home, so why are you here instead of fighting them? And then Sam
I know
tells her
it's
that
wrong,
his
but
sister is
I
waiting for
find
that exact same
wrong
answer.
So dreamy. If only he'd stop
And then,
yelling.
which she did make a mistake talking about his sister, because it probably wasn't the best idea to do, and you'll find out later on why it wasn't a very good idea to do that. But still. And then Walker walks in and says Carly is under arrest. And then she thinks that Sam planned to distract her until Walker arrived. Then they fight and Carly tries to escape. And I have to say, they seem to make this mistake a lot in movies, where they'll show one person will want to talk to the antagonist or the villain, and they'll say, "Oh, we're alone. We just want to talk." Meanwhile, there's someone else who came with them who wants to arrest them or something like that, or attack them, and then they go in while they're trying to talk, and then the person they're talking to thinks they betrayed them. So people should like stop being that dumb, I guess you could say. What Sam should have been like was, "Hey, I just want to talk, but just a quick warning, the new Captain America, John Walker, is here, so he might come in and try to get you at any point in time. I just want you to know that I am not with him."
Maybe
But
I should make a note of
I mean, maybe that is a bad
Wait,
idea, but
where was I
I
going?
think he should have done that, but never do for some reason.
Don't
And
go
then
bringing your
Zemo
villain
runs into
around
Carly,
here, you
and he gets a shot off.
Villain, you.
He doesn't kill her, but he gets her,
I'd say Xandar's
he does get
actually
her.
looking pretty good.
And then
Considering the place was
she
chock-a-block
drops
hits,
the
stomped
remaining
all
super
over
soldier
by a
serum, and he
celestial,
destroys
then ripped up
every
and
vial
dropped into some kind of
but
crazy
one.
limbo world.
Before he can knock out the last one, Walker knocks him out, and then takes the
Come
last vial
on,
that wasn't destroyed.
Guardians. How long does it take
And
to
then
beat
Carly
one guy?
tells,
I wanna
later
go
on,
home.
Carly tells her crew that they started this together, and they're gonna end it together.
That Valerian guy in the pool is here to stay.
Then we learn that she also plans to kill Walker because she says about killing Captain America, and Steve Rogers isn't Captain America no more. So that means she's planning on killing John Walker. Even though I don't call him Captain America. He ain't Cap. Steve is Cap. He's just John Walker. Or a U.S. agent. I think that's where this is going. And then she gets another text from the Power Broker saying that he wants his serum back or he will kill her. And then Sam types a message to Sharon saying, "Keep your eyes in the sky on Walker and let me know if he moves in on Carly." And then Sam tells Zemo
I'd say Xandar's actually looking
if
pretty
he was
good.
offered the
Considering
serum, the
the
super
place
soldier
was shot to
serum,
bits,
he wouldn't take
stomped
it.
all over by a celestial, then ripped up and dropped
And
into some
Zemo
kind
is
of
actually
crazy
surprised
limbo
that
world.
he answered without hesitation.
That carnivorous
And then
plant near
Zemo
the
tells
Nova
Sam
building
super soldiers
seems a
should
little
not be allowed to
dangerous.
exist, but Sam tells him blood isn't always the solution. And then Bucky says that there's something wrong with Walker, and then
Hey
Sam makes a
there.
joke being like, you haven't noticed that already? And Bucky says he knows crazy because he is crazy, and Sam says he won't argue with that. Then Walker walks in, and he demands that they hand Zemo over to him, but while they're trying to do this, the Wakandan guards come in for Zemo, the Dora Milaje, I think they're called. The guard tells Walker the Dora Milaje don't have jurisdiction here, or sorry, Walker tells them that they don't have jurisdiction where they are, but the guard says the Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever the Dora Milaje find themselves. And then the Dora Milaje and Walker and Hopkins fight as Sam and Bucky
I know
watch.
it's wrong, but
And as they watch, Bucky even just says, "You're doing good, Walker." And Sam's the one who mentions about maybe they should step in and help.
That Ronan is always so
But they don't
accusing.
step in and help
I
until
accuse him of
right
being a big jerk.
before the Dermalage almost kill Walker. So they do stop them, and then they get involved in the fight. And then in all this chaos, Zemo gets away. Walker's upset because they beat him, and he says they weren't even super soldiers.
The Guardians are finally gonna teach that no-good
Hopkins later on tells Walker that he would take the serum if he was offered it. And because Walker is a little hesitant with taking it, only because he doesn't know how it will affect him, and Hopkins explains how it only amplifies who you already were and uses Kylie Morgenthau and Steve Rogers as examples, how Steve was a good guy before taking the serum, and then Carly wasn't the best of person before taking the serum, and then taking it just amplified their personalities. And then Walker said being Cap is the first time I felt like he was doing something good, because even though he got medals of honor, he felt he didn't really deserve them. And then Carly calls Sam's sister and tells her to pass on a message to Sam because she wants to meet him. And she says if he doesn't meet, she can always meet with Thera and her kids instead. Carly wants Sam to go alone, but Bucky goes with anyway. And then when they're there, Carly tells Sam that she would never hurt Sarah, and she doesn't want to hurt him either. And she actually wants Sam to join them. But then Sharon tells Sam that Walker found a bunch of flag smashers, and then we see a fight scene where we find out that Walker did take the super soldier serum, and now he's much stronger than he was. And then we get another great fight sequence, and then Carly, as they're fighting, punches Hopkins hard enough and it kills him. And this was actually kind of surprising to me. I was not expecting Hopkins to get killed this early on. I wasn't expecting anyone to die until, like, anyone important until, like, the last episode.
Without any trouble, shall we?
But, well, the Statue of Liberty was missing its eye. But, so that was kind of surprising.
Take down the crime that's happening right now, and you
But, so they killed him, and then they tried to get away.
Same as all the others. Sorry.
They tried to get away,
It's
but
already that late?
Walker chases after them, and he catches up with one of them, the one that Carly seems to be the closest to, and
Saw a
the
monkey
one that
fighting
was
a
a
bunch of
fan of Captain
snowmen earlier?
America. He asks where she was. He doesn't answer. So he raises the shield above his head and slams it down multiple times, killing him brutally and bloodily.
Is it odd that I'm really craving
And
ice cream?
and that kills him. Something kind of interesting is that the way he killed him was a similar move that Steve actually used with that shield to Tony in Civil War. Because what Steve did was he raised the shield above his head and slammed it into Stark's arc reactor once. But he held back and he was pulling his punches when he did that because he didn't want to kill anyone. But Walker did it multiple times and did not hold anything back. And then everyone is watching this, and everyone's watching this as there's blood on the shield still. Everyone, Sam, Bucky, Carly, and a bunch of civilians have their phones out recording this, and I think this will definitely impact what Walker's role in the future episodes, even though there's only 2 left. Whoops, that's the wrong person.
Some kind of exhibition
I
happening up in
think
that
it
ruined
will
building?
affect
Man, I do not
this because
get
the government probably will not want him to be Captain America anymore. They're probably, hopefully they're gonna give the shield back to Sam, or at the very least put it back in the museum like he wanted. But yeah, and then I also think he might be on the run. Walker might be on the run. I don't think he's gonna get arrested because I just don't think they're gonna catch him. But I think he will definitely be wanted in the next episode. And I think that also might have been the most brutal and bloodiest scene, like, in the MCU as a whole. There have been other pretty brutal MCU scenes or moments, but this one I think might have been the most
Something must have
brutal.
gone down in the Cave of Dragons. That disembodied
And,
voice isn't yelling
yeah.
at me when I walk past anymore.
And I actually thought that Walker was gonna go for the head like Thor did to Thanos in Endgame, but he didn't. He didn't do that. That's what I thought he was gonna do when he raised up the hammer, or not the hammer, sorry, when he raised up the shield. But he didn't. He just slammed him multiple times, and it killed him. And then after he did that, it does show us this pretty menacing but also kind of cool shot of Walker, where you see the shield and there's still blood on the shield, and then it goes straight to credits. The end. So, yeah. But what did you guys think of this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? What did you think of that ending? Did it make your jaw drop? Or was it just like, and that happened? What did you think? Because there was actually a decent amount of emotion in this episode. Because we had some emotion with Bucky at the beginning, with him being free of the Winter Soldier program. Then with Hopkins dying, and then with him brutally killing one of the Flag Smashers. Decent amount of emotion in this episode. So yeah, what did you guys think of this episode? What did you think of that ending? Were you expecting Hopkins to die? And if so, were you expecting to die so soon?
Snow gears a waste of money, huh?
I definitely want to hear what you guys thought about this episode, especially ending. Like, did your jaw hit the floor, or were you just like, oh well, that happened. That's not really a big surprise. I'm very curious as to what you think. And thank you so much for taking time to watch. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I reviewed previous episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, as well as future ones I will be doing. I reviewed WandaVision, and I play games like Marvel's Avengers and Fortnite as Marvel characters. So yeah, thank you so much for taking time to watch. And if you hit the subscribe button, make sure to hit the notification bell too, because then you'll get notifications when I post and go live. So you won't have to constantly check back at the channel, you'll just get notifications right to your inbox. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch.
Taking
And I
place
hope,
on the mountain earlier.
see you guys in the next
Must
video.
be some new kind of
And yeah,
ancient martial art or something.
see you later. Bye.